What's happening, good people? Welcome to Where's Watch Room. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Pagani PD 1734. Now I have reviewed a very similar watch from Pagani's range, which is the 1731. It's basically the same case but a different dial, and of course this one has the bracelet rather than the strap I reviewed on that model. So we're not really going to be focusing too much on the case itself because I've already covered that in a fair bit more detail, but I am going to focus a little bit more on the bracelet and of course that dial because it is different. So let's get specs out of the way first. Oh, in fact, this was provided to the channel at a discount by the Pagani Design official store. You can find a link to that store down in the description, as well as links, well, to this watch. So yeah, let's now get to those dimensions. So we've got a roughly 37.5mm diameter case, 40.9 with a crown, 44.1 lug to lug, so point to point, 12.5mm thick, 20mm lug width, and a 5.4mm crown. So a little bit small, but usable. Weight wise, we're looking at 107 gram sized for me and my 6-inch wrist. And then we've got a sapphire crystal. You can see it is slightly domed, but it's flat top, so it's like a high top sort of flat crystal. Screw down crown, screw down case back, and we have 100 meters of water resistance. So yeah, let's talk about this watch first, and we'll just quickly go over the case. So we've got polished sides. It's decently done, you know, I've seen better, but definitely seen worse. Sign crown on this side, again high polish, nice downturn to the lugs, nothing really major to note. Top of the case, it gets a little bit more interesting because we have brushing on the top of the lugs, brushed bezel as well, which does make it feel a little bit more premium. And yeah, that's about your lot for that. Dial though, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. So starting on the outer edge, we've got a printed white minute track. So that is nice and legible against the black dial. A couple of other colours available in this. Is a silver and I think there's a blue, if memory serves correct. So if you're not a fan of this black one, you know, there is other options available. Indices are all applied and do have a very nice gilded gold finish. So we've got a double baton at the 12 o'clock, and then we've got single everywhere else. Now the ones at the 369 are a little bit broader, just to make them stand out a little bit more than the rest of them, but they are well executed. They've got a mixed finish with a high polish, and you can just see, you know, they do catch and play with the light really nicely. One downer though is the legibility. You can see, you know, there's no AR coating on that crystal, and then when you shift it out of the light, you know, it can be a little bit hard to read. So yeah, it's definitely not the best. But anyway, moving on. We have an applied Pagani logo, Pagani Design printed. Printing on above the 6 as well. It's just the water resistance. Now, one other thing I'd like to note though is the dial. Because of the lack of AR, it's very hard to see the quality of this dial because it is a very nicely done textured dial. It's not, I mean, it's like a meteorite-esque style, but it's not as, yeah, it's a little bit strange. It's not a faux meteorite because we've had one of those before. It's definitely heavily textured. I can't really think of the word I'm looking to describe what it's like, but it's, yeah, it's got like a weave and interwoven kind of look to it. But yeah, it's really hard to get a good idea of what it looks like, because it's either blown out or it's too dark to actually see. So I'll see if I can get a better shot just to show you in a little bit more detail what it actually looks like. But yeah, it's a very nice dial, just a little bit hard to see in some situations. As for the handset, we've got a very nice sword style for both of them. Slender needle point seconds hand, my apologies. But yeah, the hands are well executed, a little slither of loom. I wouldn't have really bothered with that because, you know, Pagani's loom. I'm not even going to mention it because, you know, it's not great at all, so there's no point in wasting time there. Moving on to the case back. We've seen this design before. It's well executed, and yeah, it's, you know, it is what it is. So now we're done with that. dial, yes, I am impressed when you can see it. Bracelet, we're looking at a solid end link, which is female, which is always nice to see because it does reduce the overall wearability. Finishing on the bracelet it's actually not bad. I've definitely seen worse from Pagani, but I've seen better from them as well. The clasp is, yeah, it's definitely a bit thin. So we've got like a pressed shell. 3 micro adjuster, which is always nice. And then the scissor part is a little bit, yeah, a little bit flimsy, a little bit meh, to be honest. Fold over, double security pushers. Finishing is all right though. And then we've got a branded fold over. Yeah, the articulation is nice, polished sides, and it's screw link as well. Now I did have one issue with this where the screws actually got stuck and they would not come out. So I had to bathe the bracelet in really hot water, not quite boiling, but just hot water. Left it soaking for 5 or so minutes, and then the screws did come out. A little bit of a shame that, you know, had to do that, but it's Pagani for you. You know, they don't always quite get the bracelets right, and they've got quite a fair bit of this one right, but yeah, just some of it, yeah, not so much. I mean, like I said, articulation's good. It's not the most premium quality feeling bracelet I've had from Pagani though, but this is more affordable in their range, so I can kind of get a little bit of slack on that front. Wearability though is very nice, so we'll just get it on wrist, and we'll just close that clasp. And you know what? It's that's just pinched a little bit. That's my fault. There we go. And there it is on wrist. Yeah, it's a really nice size. Really nice wear, of course. You know, it's not heavy. The balance is really nice. Obviously, you know, quartz. So you don't get that top heavy feeling. You know, we've got a nice distribution of weight all the way through. And yeah, it's really nice and comfortable. It's one of those watches you can sort of put on and forget you're wearing. I would say if you are going to look at one of these watches, definitely get the bracelet because it is way better than the strap that I had on the other version of this, which is basically the same watch, different strap and a different dial. But yeah, this one is very nice to wear. Yeah, profile wise, you know, hug's really nice. A little downturn to those lugs just to help it conform. But yeah, really nice wear. One of those watches you can sort of chuck on and forget because it is light, low profile, so it does slip under a cuff too. So yeah, very, very comfortable. Can't really complain at all. So let's just pop that off and carry on. So movement wise, we're looking at the Seiko VH31, which is the sweeping quartz. Accuracy of it is negative to plus 15 per month. A 2-year battery life, which is not the best. We do have 2 jewels. It's 4 beats per second as well, which is why you get that nice sweep. It's not quite automatic smooth, but it is much smoother than, of course, a single tick. I'm using an SR920SW battery. And yeah, you can see, you know, it's a very nice sweep. Obviously, it doesn't go quite as smooth as a 21,600 beats per hour automatic, nor a high beat one either. So here it is definitely nicer than a single tick clunky quartz. But yeah, it's definitely got its drawbacks too. Of course, that battery life, 2 years, you know, it's not great to be fair. So yeah, you're either going to have to, you know, swap the battery out yourself or get someone to do it for you. So that is a little bit of a downer of this movement. But other than that, it's fantastic. I love, you know, the sweeping quartz. It's definitely much more elegant and way nicer than, of course, a single tick. Crown, you know, it's a little bit small, quite hard to get a grip on sometimes. And I don't have exactly the, you know, the largest of fingers, but I still find it a little bit tricky to use. 2 pulls out. You can see, you know, of course, the battery disengages the second hand to stop. So it's essentially like hacking, but not the same. Yeah, movement, fine. Once the crown's actually extended out, it's quite easy to use, but once it's screwed in, it's a little bit tricky. Re-engagement is absolutely fine though, no issues there. So yeah, it's a good quality movement. Just wish that battery life was a little bit better, but that's no fault of Pagani. That is of course, a Seiko movement, so can't really fault Pagani for that. Moving on to, well, we were going to cover loom, but I don't really see the point. We've got a little slither on the hands, and it's kind of, I wish they'd have just done a full Dauphine set instead of the part split one that they've done with the loom, it really does the watch no favours at all in my opinion, so we'll just gloss over that. To the verdict now, and price wise we're looking at £75 current price of filming, which is the 12th of November. I'm filming this video, so of course that is likely to change because I think we're in sale at the moment, so that's probably why it's cheaper. Usual price I don't think is much more than that, and keep in mind that 75 quid is including tax as well. But yeah, I think it's a good watch. The only thing I'd wish Pagani would do is maybe increase the price a little bit. Now hear me out. Give us some AR coating on that crystal, slightly better bracelet, get rid of the loom, and I think it'll be a really nice little dress watch. I think it needs AR coating because, of course, I really want to see that dial more, because now it's really hard to see, especially in really bright, harsh light. It just blows out the whole thing and just makes it look flat, and it's an interesting dial. It's just you can't really appreciate it because of the lack of AR on that really reflective crystal. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame. So if Pagani could, you know, for I think this is the version 2 actually, for a version 3 if they do one, make it a little bit more premium, stick some AR coating on it, fix a few little things, and it'd be a really, really good little watch. But as for the comparing it to the other version, I would pick this one because that bracelet is of course better, even though this one isn't quite as legible as that other model, which is basically the same watch, just a different dial and strap. But yeah, I do like it, flawed in places, which you know, we've come to expect now. And I also wish they'd left the printing of the Pagani design off the dial as well and just kept the logo, but you know, and also got rid of the waterproof text as well. It doesn't really need it in my opinion. But yeah, good little watch, flawed in places. Yeah, worth looking at if you can get it cheap enough. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. If you want to see more content on the channel, click the links you can see right now. Like the video if you enjoyed it, hit that bell so you don't miss any future content, and of course feel free to subscribe if you want to stay in touch with the channel. Thanks very much. Have a good one.